Aaron Judge wins the Clemente Award. You alluded to Aaron and that series when you said, well, we didn't have Judge. That's how important Aaron Judge is to that Yankees. He's one of those players. He's a Shohei Ohtani. He's that important. For me, watching your team over the course of the season, and I forget who I was talking to. I said, Aaron Judge, in my opinion, is as important to that Yankees team as any player in this game is to their team. You look at a Corey Seager, what a great player he is, a Mookie Betts, a Freddie Freeman. They're pretty important players. Acuna. For me, a Matt Olson, who had 50-plus homers this year. These are important superstar players. But I look pound for pound, and I look around every team. Aaron Judge, you could make an argument, but there's nobody more important to their team than him. Won the Roberto Clemente Award. You're all about watches. And for those of you listening, watching the Boone podcast, you'll see Aaron wearing his watch all the time. He actually hooked me up with one. I was shocked. And we'll give a shout out to VJ, by the way, who's hanging out at the World Series. Said to say hi. He's hanging out with our producer, Rich Herrera. And Rich sent me this morning. He said, "You're doing Uncle Arnie today." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey," and he sent me VJ's card. He says, "VJ says hi." So
VJ from Oris. Those are Oris watches.
Oris watches. Aaron Judge. Don't know him personally. Watched him from afar. Obviously, unbelievable talent. Won the Roberto Clemente Award last night. I believe it was yesterday.
You didn't meet him in Anaheim?
I don't think I've met Judge. No, I haven't met Judge. So I don't know him on a personal level. Awful impressed. Watching him, how obviously the playing goes without saying. The numbers are what the numbers are. But I know that role. I know that stage. I know being a captain of the Yankees. I watched Derek Jeter for years thread that needle perfectly, and always had a lot of respect for Derek. Not how he played the game, not the numbers he put up in the 3,000 hits. That's all great, but I know how big of a platform that is, and he was kind of deemed the captain. And there's something that comes with that. And I think Derek carried that torch pretty darn good, about as good as you can. I see Aaron Judge, and not that they're similar personality-wise, but I see him doing a really classy job about the way he goes about it, the way he talks, the things he says. I think the New York Yankees are proud of Aaron Judge for how the man he is on and off the field. What's he really like? What's Aaron Judge like for your brother that doesn't know Aaron Judge? Yeah. Am I pretty accurate with my assessment?
Yeah, he's as good as he gets. I mean, to have your superstar, face of the franchise, captain player, be the way Aaron goes about it, you can't ask for anything more. Like, he is a great guy, super accountable, has gotten better and better each and every year at being a leader and having a stronger voice, and obviously signing a long-term deal and officially becoming the captain, I think, has only raised his level of leadership, and it's something that he continues to do well and continues to grow in. I watch him closely all the time to see the way he interacts all the time with everyone he comes in contact with. When we're on the road and, we got tons of people around behind the rope, or at home, you got whatever, hundreds of fans on the field that get the BP passes and are watching. And he's super aware of who might be over there and where, kids might be. He'll take a round or two and always go over there and make time for them. His charity, gives so much back. He's so involved in it. There's a consistency with the way he carries himself and the way he treats everyone around him. And then he's got that great killer instinct, though, that, great athletes and great players have. Like, he'll rip your heart out, and he plays the game with an edge. You see he's as cool as it comes. I saw you talking about Mike Schmidt and how cool is Schmitty. Aaron has some. Aaron is just the way he moves, the way he hits a homer, the way he's very super cool. But he's got an edge to the way he plays the game, while also he'll smile and shake your hand and talk to you even in the heat of competition. But he's there to beat you. But the way he carries himself all the time, and the way he treats people all the time, whoever he comes in contact with, is something that I really admire about him. And it's been an honor to be his manager. We're in this thing together, and we're trying to get to the top of the mountain together. But I couldn't ask for a better leader of our team than Aaron Judge.
Yeah, and we've both played with a lot of great players and guys that supposedly are supposed to be the leader of the team. Every great player doesn't have that quality, doesn't have that innate quality to just take the lead. They're players and they're great players. And sometimes we just ask you to be a great player because that's not in your personality. Seems to come really naturally for Aaron. And it's not something forced, like, oh, I signed this big contract, I'm supposed to be this guy, so I'll kind of force it. It's a natural leadership quality he has.
One of the things I love about, and partly I think this is because, he's such a good player and he's so confident in his ability that he knows that over time he's going to do the things that make him a great player. But to see him every single night, we come in, and when we win a game, we have a little belt ceremony and we get everyone together in our locker room, and whoever's coming off player of the game the last time will give a speech about it. To see his joy in winning, and to see his joy in his teammates, whether it be another star player on the team or whether it's the guy that just got called up that got player of the game, to see his excitement and joy for those guys and their role in a win is one of the things I really enjoy about Aaron. He is about winning, and that's one of the good things about our team. And I think playing for the Yankees is, you weed out a lot of that guys playing for their selfish. Like, winning cures a lot of things in New York, and when you don't, it can be a little bit rough. So Aaron embodies, like, we're in this thing each and every day to win, and you see his excitement, whether he was 0 for 4, 4 for 4, whatever in between. Like, his joy for his teammates when they have successes is pretty cool to witness on a nightly basis.
Take me through quickly your offseason. Now, this year, obviously, didn't go as to plan. You had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks. Didn't go to the postseason for the first time since you've been a Yankee. What's the first thing? How quick, for the fans out there listening to the Boone podcast, how quick does that 2024 kick in for you? Like, when do we start? The season ends, we go home, you relax, you breathe a little bit. How quick do you get back? And we're talking free agents, trades, addressing current players on the roster, the minor leagues. You communicate with your players in the offseason. I played for a lot of different managers. Some managers, once that season ended, I shook their hand. And I didn't see them till the first day of spring training. Some managers I played for give me a call in the offseason. Booney, how you doing? Depending on the year, what was going on, whether I was a young player, whether I was a veteran. If I was a veteran player, I might get a call from a skipper and go, Booney, what do you think about this? When does that all start for you?
Well, this year it started right away. Unfortunately, not making the playoffs, is rough, especially when you're a Yankee. We're obviously, our expectations are to win a championship. So, we pretty much got to work right away. We had a large, few-day meeting in Tampa right after the season with, from ownership onto the front office and myself, really just diving in and where we can improve, what we need to do. Now we're in the kind of the throes, and a lot of this is front office related, but starting to, go through all the different organizations and, making, getting all our scouting evaluations on different organizations, the, free agents to be this year. So you're starting to lay that, foundation, with where Cash will be at the general manager meetings next week. So, those things start to take shape. We're going through hitting coach interviews to hire a new coach. I got Carlos Mendoza, our bench coach, is going through managerial interview processes. So we might have to, replace even another coach. So you're going through those interviews to fill out your coaching staff. But it never really stops, especially for the front office, where they're, this is their time of year where they're, it never really slows down, I guess, but certainly right now is, where they're really getting their ducks in a row to hopefully go out and have a really good winter, as far as, tweaking and changing and adding things to the roster. So it never really stops. And this year it started almost right away.
Okay, I think I could probably answer that. Now, being your big brother, I kind of know how Aaron is. We're people ask me all the time. I said we're very different. We're oil and water, but a lot of it, we do think a lot alike when it comes to sport and the game and strategies. But we're also very different in our personalities. Um, and I've got this question for you, and I'm interested to see how you answer it. How tough is it for you to turn it off? You mentioned New York. New York's a different animal, without a doubt. Their expectations to me sometimes unrealistic, but nevertheless, it's New York and what makes that city so great. And being a Yankee so great, those ridiculously high expectations. So it is tough. But is it easy for you to turn it off? Or this offseason right now, what still bugs you when you lay down at night? Because I know you, and, and man, you got that look at your face. What are you thinking about, Aaron? That damn, could be 3 weeks ago. So is it easy for you to turn it off? And what are you thinking about now? What still keeps you up at night and going, damn it, if we would adjust?
Yeah. All right. So, no, it's not easy to turn it off. But I do feel like, my faith and my family absolutely affords me perspective. So I never lose perspective on, as thick as it gets sometimes, and as heavy as it gets sometimes, and even as stressful as it gets sometimes. I always have the perspective of, this is, I understand how much this matters and how important it is. And it's my livelihood. And, but you also understand it's also not life and death either. And that perspective never really fades. But there's no doubt, like when you're going through a rough stretch or a tough season, you wake up in the morning and it's like, it hurts a little more, like, oh. Whereas when you're rolling and things are going well, it's a little more, it's easier to be carefree and enjoy life a little bit more, but as far as what kind of I don't know. I think, like some of the key things that we had happen to us with some of our guys, and obviously, Anthony Rizzo got off to such a good start for us the first 6 weeks, and then had the collision with Tatis. And at the time, he missed a couple games just with a stiff neck, but we didn't think much of it, and because physically he was so good. But to look back, where he was playing probably, another 6-8 weeks where he was a shell of himself, and we couldn't figure out why. And, to realize that it was, probably because of concussion related stuff, that stings a little bit and hurts. And I say that with Riz is actually still here in New York. I see him, I saw him the other day. He's coming into the park. He's in a great spot. He's doing great. He's in the throes of his winter and preparation for next year. But I think overall it's like, you have guys that went through tough years by their standards for whatever reasons, injuries in some cases, underperformance in some cases. So it's like what I'm thinking about is, how do we get these guys, performing at their peak? And so it's like, what are the answers in those regards? And how do we, set these guys up going into the off season? And so when we get to spring training, they're in the best possible position to go out and perform the way they're capable of. And so I think that's the biggest thing that, keeps me, or that I think about or stew on the most, and why I do try to have communication with pretty much all of our guys on some level, but specifically some guys that I've targeted that I feel like I need to stay in constant touch with to make sure, they're doing everything necessary this winter to put themselves in a great position to perform like I know they're capable of. So that's kind of what I do with my players during the off season, is try and communicate to them to make sure they're in a good spot now, a few weeks from now, as we get towards the end of the winter, heading into spring training, that, we put this year behind us, and it turned out to be something that just ultimately was a log on the fire for us heading into next year. And that's where my focus is.